Jurassic is the one that we just heard there in that clip before the game, and he's kind of looking for redemption for the whole Golden Guardians Academy thing, where he was at the bottom of Academy. That was the 10th place team. I believe they went 4 and 14 overall, 10th dead last, and he's saying he still wants to be a pro. It's, you know, you get knocked down multiple times. You just have to get up one more time that you get knocked down, and this is him getting up right now, saying, hey, even though we are 0-6, we still want to win this. He still wants to show off. He had an okay performance on the Lucian, 2 deaths early, 3 total in the game, so didn't let the mid game get away from him.
We'll see what happens here in the draft though, because Akali and Kennen will once again be banned by Ocean, and Aurelia will be back for another ban here on Cloud side, as teams have actually stayed at same sides as well. But Victor is going to be the new one there. Makes sense, very strong champion, can be flexed in 2 lanes. Julian looked good on it there, and I think in general, knocking your opponents off comfort is always a good thing. I would personally like to see Julian play something other than a control mage, but we'll see what happens here as Braum, once again, the ban there from Ocean. Yep,
and then it was Thresh and Xayah that were the other ones here. Because you picked up the ban on the Victor, you can only ban one of them. Question is, will it be the Xayah? And so, yes, it will. They don't want to give Jurassic that safety and allow them to be able to go after him in fights.
Does feel like maybe something like Alistar is the easy first pickup here though, although we'll see what they decide to do.
Yeah, because of the fact that there isn't a Thresh ban this time, there isn't as high of a priority on Alistar. So you're okay with picking something else here and not just going straight for that champion.
And as you said, priority shifts, so Lucian is actually the first pick overall, so still a bot side pick, or bot lane pick I should say, but taking the other one and see if Jurassic can have a different performance on the Lucian, although, as you said, was just fine in game number 1.
Wow.
But there is the Alistar for Cloud, and I wonder if they are going to complete their bot lane here, depending on what they want to do with pick number 2. If Sophisei just gets off the Kai'Sa, says, you know what, give me something that I can make some more plays and be more aggressive early with.
Yeah, I don't know if you take that here. Maybe you potentially go for something like the Urgot and flex it. Yeah, I think that's the most important thing to go for.
Makes sense. So there is the Urgot there for Cloud. We'll see how the rest of the matchups shake out here, as Ocean are now back on the board with their next 2 picks to come.
If you want to go jungler and maybe Thresh, that could be a route, or Thresh and a flex pick. I think Thresh and a flex pick, maybe Aatrox if you want to put it top or mid.
Yeah, so Aatrox is the one that jumps to mind as far as like, this is the other flex pick we've been seeing a lot of. We saw a ton of it with Aatrox Urgot at Worlds, and I feel like those 2 champions have only developed since that time. Victor, of course, is added to that list, but he is banned in this game.
Yeah, I just don't know how much these 2 guys are actually like Aatrox players is the thing. So the Camille for Metaphor, or could be top lane Camille, still a flex pick, picked up here for the team. Yeah, so it doesn't give away a lot of information, and this means Cloud, they could go ahead and pick their jungler here if they wanted, or they could mismatch, pick their mid laner like a Syndra, and then go throw some bans towards counters.
Well, only 2 seconds left to pick up this champion. It will actually just be a jungle trade, interestingly. So Camille and Nocturne once again, but swapping up players for these champions this go around.
Yeah, I would say that the Camille is a little bit harder to execute on. She ends up being doesn't have the same engage range, even though her engage range is quite long. She can take over a game and has better scaling. If she gets behind, it's very difficult for a Camille to get back into the game.
Feels like the risk is higher, but the reward may be much higher there as well, as Galio actually going to get banned away. So breaking up Camille Galio, Julian has also played a lot of Galio in his career, so we'll just take that one away. And there's a Sivir ban, taking some ADs away from Sophisei.
I also like the Sivir ban here because it's a wave clear marksman, which would have actually kind of rounded the composition out for them last game. And it may have been a retro point where they're like, we had a Rumble and an Urgot. We needed something else there. And the Kai'Sa wasn't doing it for them. So I like the fact that the Sivir ban pops up here from Ocean.
And there's Syndra, another mid laner taken away.
Probably means that they're going to pick their mid laner last here on the side of Cloud. They don't want you to be able to counter with a Syndra, or I guess blind pick a Syndra here and feel good into almost all matchups, or then have the Galio with your Camille, like you had said earlier, Pastry. So It just seems like they're probably going to pick their marksman here. Varus jumps to mind. I believe there's also Kai'Sa still available.
Yeah. Interesting to see Ezreal taken away. Kind of the safer marksmen there in the bot lane have kind of been moved off the board. It does mean Kai'Sa, though, still up, and Sophisei says, you know what, last game, Just an oopsie here and there. Comfortable on the champion, we'll take it once again.
Yep, Kaisa, no problems with that, but also better alongside the Alistar because you'll apply 2 points of Plasma with the Headbutt and the Pulverize and start your combos off right. And Echo, actually, pretty good pick. You can actually flex it top or mid if you want to.
Certainly can.
But
okay.
Well,
still a flex pick. Lissandra there.
Yep, flexible while you think a little bit more.
Yeah, again, you know what? Maybe that's just a good panic pick, you know? Just pick a flex pick. We'll figure it out. Give me 20 more seconds.
Yeah. I mean, sometimes that's what it comes down to, and you have to figure out who wants this, what's a better pick here as you discuss. And double flex pick.
Ooh.
Which I think is good because you don't know what Cloud's going to pick as their last pick. So they have to pick something that's good both into Lissandra or Aatrox here because they'll just swap the lanes up on you. But the same thing is, if Cloud pick something that's flexible themselves, they could just go ahead and start flexing too. But I don't feel like there's that many champions left that can play both top and mid.
Yeah, I think they've kind of all been taken away.
Kennen's gone, Victor's gone, Aurelia's gone, Camille is not really a mid laner.
I mean, I think you just said one of the only ones left is Echo, but I don't know if Echo's... I mean, he's fine. He's not good until... All right,
oh, there's the other one. we didn't consider the obvious one. The one from last game. Oh, no. Okay. Well, I'll see where this one goes, because you have 20 seconds on the clock. When it hits 20, you can't swap anymore. I feel like you want the Aatrox into the Rumble, because you can just actually just blast him, and he can't really get away from you. So, yeah, they're swapping there. Wait. Let's see. This might be one of those trigger finger ones, like who goes at 22 seconds, who goes it back. This is the mechanics of the swapping. And they're locked in. You do have the Aatrox into the Rumble.
Okay, so did want it for top lane after all. Julian back on control mid duty with Lissandra. But I think, as you said, as far as matchups goes, this is kind of the thing that makes the most sense. And interesting to see Firefire. I mean, Rumble, Urgot, Rumble's certainly not a champion you expect to see very often in mid lane. Urgot is, but not every player is willing to play at mid lane. Certainly a champion you must learn as a mid laner is quite different from a lot of the other champions. So if nothing else, credit to him for willing to play, you know, some more upbeat picks and willing to learn more to give his team more options here in draft.
And I actually think that last game was an example of that too for Firefire.
Yes,
where he's displaying the flexibility, he's saying, I'll play the Rumble here. I actually think that Jenkins is by far the better Rumble player. Bob Jenkins pretty much, he was playing the Kennen, the Gnar, the Rumble. He'll play the mages in the top lane and the range champions. It's right up his alley. I don't think it's the same thing for Firefire in the mid lane. So on a champion, a little better for him, but also Jenkins now on a better champion for him as well.
Just listed all Season 1 top laners, by the way. Rumble and
That's true.
have been around forever.
That's true.
I was going to make the joke that the last time we saw Rumble mid, Europe and NA didn't share a champion pool. That's how far back you have to go. It was basically at the first Worlds where Europe and NA like finally met up, and he was like, hey, you're supposed to play with support marksman bottom, and NA's like,
what is
oh,
this?
I didn't know that.
No way.
Only one player was willing to be like, I think Rumble mid's good. And it was amazing, apparently.
Yeah, it was actually pretty good at the time. But
that's how far back you have to go for me to remember Rumble mid.
When we had, I mean, that was 7 years ago.
It was a very long time ago.
Oh my lord. Okay. I don't want to think about getting
I'm impressed that you, as a young upstart caster, can remember that far back, Zirene. That impresses me.
Man, I'm 28, man. There's people in this game that are literally a decade younger than me. All right, anyway, regardless. We're talking about these young guys here who have just like pretty much started to get to that point where they're like, I want to start a League of Legends career. Some of them are coming right out of high school. Some of them, even like Onobese Panda, he was like, I need to finish college and then come in and, you know, try to give it his all. It's one of those things where if you don't try it and you're really good at it, you'll regret it. So I feel like this is where he's saying, I need to throw down and show what I'm made of. And after that game where he just went 0-7 up against Metaphor, he's going to have a much better performance here on this Nocturne, which is not a level 2 ganking champion. So he's going to have to route and hope that Metaphor doesn't go for some clever pathing here and catch him off guard.
Yeah, still his champion as well. So always fun to see reverse matchups getting played, especially right after the other.
Camille.
Up, has the sweeper coming down the bot lane. I've seen this a few times. Maybe just checking for some crab protection. Nope, this is a full-on gank.
And there's the all clear.
And, you know, so they just play it safe, play back. Don't want to walk themselves into a threshold call.
I feel like Diamond might have actually given that up a little bit by walking too far forward. It does give them control of the wave because they now see him actually doing the Scuttle Crab. He's going to pick that one up. Whereas, meanwhile, Obese Panda, he actually is going for a red into Krugs, into going for looking towards the top side, but he's going to go for the second Scuttle. So now you can't kind of do the same thing here.
Yeah, no double Scuttle this time around. I think Metaphor is realizing that. Looks like there is a ward. Not sure who it is. Not sure if they can see just yet. Actually, Obese Panda is all clear here on the Scuttle Crab, so he'll just take that one out solo. But Metaphor at least realizing enough to go invade and take down some jungle instead, as the first hook from Diamond will just miss.
Yep. Goes for the hook right before they hit level 2. And Sophus Sage actually zoned away from the experience a bit. You can see just that difference in the matchup there. And we have this large CS advantage for the Lucian for Jurassic, who I don't expect them to get as aggressive as they did last game, where they went aggressive, they blew all 4 summoner spells, and then it just blew up in their face when they got visited by an Obese Panda or later.
That's a nice hook there from Diamond. Double play as well. Aftershock procs, Winter counters with a Pulverize. To come out pretty much on top of the trade until that happened.
Throughout the W, though, got a little bit of a counter, and now here comes Metaphor.
Actually going for a tower dive here, level 3. Super Sage already getting down. There's the Ignite looking good. Hookshot's going to miss. Sage is dead, though. Jurassic able to grab the first blood. And now TP's down. They're going to dive in with the Aatrox. He's already taken up the turret. He gets the kill as well.
That was really well done there from the side of Ocean. They just had a really great coordinated dive on the bottom side there. That started off with, they got that hook, they got that chip damage. The minion wave is underneath the turret, and you can even see just the difference in CS is massive right now between Jurassic and Sophus Sage. This is what they're trying to go for when you have this Lucian matchup. You need to kill him early. That's exactly what they're able to accomplish here.
Yep, looks like even another wave going to get denied here, so we'll watch this dive once more.
Yeah, and watch for the turret aggro here. Walks up, doesn't get the aggro yet. The Ignite comes down so that Diamond gets it first, and then they get out of range, burning the flashes. And I like how Metaphor hook shot to the wall, knew he was going to panic and couldn't just stand there, and waited for the flash. So Metaphor still has his own, so he can go for a hook shot, flash, repeat gank, or go to a different lane.
See what happens here, but again, TP quickly in there from the top laner. Doesn't even give up that much, as goes back in as even the CS here. Looks like both Firefire and Jenkins couldn't find a TP angle they liked. So despite a lot of global pressure, Ocean commit very hard to a dive, and it works out well. Yeah,
and it's exactly what you need when you have that Camille. We're talking about how an Obese Panda didn't have a really good game last game, but it's the difference where the Camille's level 2 and 3 is so potent compared to the Nocturne, who wants to farm for level 6. So an Obese Panda, a kind of quiet early game is better for the Nocturne, but the Camille, he's already making noise.
Ooh, Winsett trying to block the Lantern, but not able to quite get there. So a little late back to lane here for Diamond, who I think was off warding. It's going to mean Jurassic fell, kind of even the CS back up a bit.
Yeah, and the funny thing about Diamond on this Thresh, it just gives me kind of flashbacks to multiple years ago, even like 2014, 2015, when he was playing for TSM Darkness, and the Challenger Series was, I remember there were a whole bunch of just Thresh one-trick supports coming up. That was the age of like Ramelia coming up, Tsutsuro, that was Sheep, that was Bunny Fufu, right? All these guys, and then there was like Diamond in there as well. I think it was Cabigon at the time, who was constantly playing this Thresh and was like, who can out-Thresh the other person?
Yeah.
Who gets it this time, right? I think Hakuo also a little bit after that too.
Yep.
Just a lot of Thresh supports, and now he's back on this champion here. I believe one of his favorite champions from years ago.
If you ever played Thresh when Thresh came out, Thresh is one of your favorite champions.
Oh,
that's
absolutely.
That's kind of how it works.
Yeah, but you had to be a good Thresh player too, and it's not just one that's good at hooking. You have to be able to, know your position. Where are you in a Lantern position? Are you in a hook position? If you're in a flay position, and when to be in each one, because by the time you need to be in a Lantern position, you needed to have thought you would have been in it. You needed to think that you were going to have to be in it, because otherwise, if you're going for that play and walking forward, you're of no use in terms of Lantern escape position.
Well, this play again, basically a repeat, as Julian also roaming down with level 6. Metaphor commits for the flash. Julian in onto Diamond. There's the ulti down. That's Winter dead with no ult. Easy pick up there as Diamond actually collects the last hit. They also grab the turret. So Ocean continuing to hammer this bot lane.
And Ocean just coming up huge here. You know, sometimes you go 0-6, but then there's a stage boost that you get when you're live right on that LCS stage. And you can see right here, they're being very aggressive. I think a lot of this is off the back of Metaphor and the Lucian that Jurassic has, where he's able to push the lane and they're able to capitalize off it. We talked about how Metaphor, I think he's somebody who plays better with more aggressive laners. And now he's playing off the bottom side of the map, which is exactly where he's finding his success.
Yeah, he found the aggressive lane. It just happened to be bot lane, which is maybe the atypical thing when you consider how generally junglers and laners pair up.
Well, and you think about what happened at Worlds, too, where people thought it was going to be a bot lane meta, then it became like Xayah, Sivir, just a lot of trading and a lot of just kind of not looking at those lanes and paying attention to solo lanes. It became a solo lane metagame for a lot of Worlds. And honestly, this is completely different here, where you're playing off of this Lucian, this aggressive laner. It's a bit of a, I would say, a departure from what we were seeing just a month ago.
Certainly a departure from what Ocean have been playing earlier in the week as well. Oh, that was so sick! Fire finds Metaphor, pops off as well. That's got to be the worst feeling in the world. Guy doing your Raptors.
Call me Ishmael. That was amazing. Oh, man. He just sees him from so far away. I love that. That was great.
People don't appreciate just how long-range Urgot's ulti is. Because usually you just get him in melee range, right?
Yeah.
And everyone piles in and they get executed, and that's how it works out. But what a snipe there from Fire. Looks like we have a rotation as well. Ocean are going to move their dual lane up to the top lane, but Cloud matching. It's a 4v2 right now here in the top lane.
That is probably my favorite ultimate Urgot kill that I have ever seen.
And it's so good, we're going to watch it again.
It's because he just has a ward over there, and he's doing the Raptors. Man the harpoons! Pulls them in, grinds them up, taunts them down. Oh, let's go.
Notice the damage there as well. Like, level 1 Urgot especially, the execute range is pretty low.
Yeah. So
clearly knew that Metaphor was going to die. Yeah. Makes it look real good on the back.
I believe it's always 25%, but hold on. Metaphor are not there.
Uh-oh, that's going to be a kill here. Diamond dead to Sopha's Sage. As, again, Nocturne able to turn his ulti on and find a kill. Roam into the midsection though, dueling with the ulti. There's some knock up there from Aatrox, and it should be a relatively straightforward chase. Chains do not latch, so Fire will get away.
Yep, Fire gets away, and he's going to stay here, even though Metaphor is not near him, to go for a gank and try to get a kill on top of it. So Beast Panda went ulti to the top side, blew that, and there's just pretty much people blowing ultis left and right. The pressure and the focus is pretty much all over the place. And that's interesting because normally teams have one unified goal, but it just seems like multiple points at the same time. It's almost like 2-on-2s, 3-on-3s happening, or 2-on-3s happening and 1-on-2s, where people have to just react accordingly constantly. So I'm surprised the game is not bloodier than it is with only 5 kills, but that's because people are just getting away from a lot of these.
We'll see Ocean, see if they can keep pressing their advantage. They're almost up 2,000 gold, actually.
And the Infernal on top of it.
First turret helping out. Again, sweeping around. Metaphor here, helping out his buddies, Jurassic and Diamond. Looks like Winter and Sage should be safe enough. They've actually got a Beast Panda in the back pocket as well, but no ulti for a while. Nocturne's ult cooldown pretty long. But you can clearly see where the attention is being paid to this game.
Yeah, the bottom lane, which is now in the top. And then the Rift Herald now. So it's an objective to pick up the neutral objective here. And you can see Fire rotating over.
Ghost Ignite.
Yeah, see if he, he wards in, so they know what's going on here. But they just don't have a way to do it, because you can see Jenkins' TP just came off of cooldown here. They wanted to de-aggro, they want to reset. And Metaphor, I think he has a decent amount of gold here. Yeah, 2 long swords, picks that up. I think it's the Tiamat into getting just the warrior enchant.
Well, whatever it was, Cloud actually do get them off the Rift Herald, curiously enough.
Yeah.
So no committal there, despite the strong position there from Ocean. The Beast Panda has also been up here for a while, and his ult's about to come back off cooldown.
Yep, it's off now.
This is a long con here for this gank in top lane.
And you can see where Diamond is standing, right? He's like, yo, I gotta go over here. I'm gonna go ward. Urgot left mid lane. I don't know what's going on.
Kind of 2 answers, right? Either I'm getting lane ganked, or someone's about to tower dive me. Or perhaps one into the other. Although the wards will spot them grouping up here.
Yep, it's a good ward. Oh.
All right, looks like they'll just lose blue buff instead, which isn't so bad.
Yeah, not bad. They got to watch out for mid lane, though. I'm going to go clear this out, prepare this area with the Scuttle Crab, and as well as getting rid of some of those wards. Remember, it's a long lane, bottom lane with that turret down, so this gives a lot of room for the Aatrox to push, and this puts pressure on Firefire. We've seen it already where all he has to do, Aetheris, has to push and then go mid over and over again. And in case people don't know, Aetheris, if you've been watching League of Legends for a while now...
since Rumble was mid, since one.
Pretty much. Formerly went by the name of Flares, played for Enemy, played for Sin in the OPL. So he does have LCS experience. I believe he's the only person in Scouting Grounds
that is correct,
who has LCS experience. And he's that top laner who a lot of people were saying, like, you know, they don't need to pick him up early in the draft because he's a known quantity. People say they know his level, and that kind of old dogs can't learn new tricks. And that's why people like Fake God went first, because people don't know how good they are. And I feel like a lot of people think it's easier to just work with somebody new than it is to break people of old habits or bad habits that they've had formulated over many years.
But again, this event is really about showcasing these players that are looking to either push themselves back or for the first time into the higher echelons of competitive play, and looking good here, you know, having a good week, talking to your coaches, the teammates that at least you have for a week. These are all things that add up when, you know, that season comes around and teams are looking, you know what, do we need some new players? Who do we want to pick up?
Exactly, and people will weigh different things, and like you said, Scouting Grounds is about those new people who are coming up. They played pretty much like semi-pro or amateur for like a year, half a year, however long. And then it's about those people who have been around for a while. Aetheris, even Winter, 3 Scouting Grounds. He's the only player who's been to all 3 Scouting Grounds is Winter. And he's one of those guys trying to prove that he has improved. But honestly, making 3 Scouting Grounds means you've been at the top of solo queue for 3 years in a row.
You're certainly consistent, if nothing else. This is the paranoia from Nocturne trying to find a pick-up, but no one really good to get. They actually do find Julian, but he's going to ult himself if he can try and make it. Does get it there. The Unstruck proc, and everybody piles back in. A decent ult there from Jenkins, and Lindsay's burning down. He will get picked up by Jurassic. Camille lives, but not for too much longer as he's finally picked up by the Rumble, but it's just carnage in the team fight. Ocean again. They're going to ace Cloud.
An ace, a triple kill going over to Jurassic, who he said the Golden Guardians Academy kind of kicked off the team, wasn't going to demotivate him here. 4-0-3 on this Lucian here, having a great game where they've played to him and showed what he can do if you focus his lane.
Yep, they'll get a Rift Herald. Jurassic should be able to clean up the top outer turret here as well. Ocean once more snowballing very cleanly through this early game as they move into a very strong mid game for themselves. Goldly looking about 4K right now. That will increase as they pick up their objectives, as somebody needs to grab the Herald.
Somebody. There's pings on it. I think they know it's there.
Yeah, it looks like just going to take the crab, and then Theoriz will pick it up. Not forgotten.
Yep, has that Youmuu's Ghostblade too, something that we've been seeing a lot of Aatrox ultimates into Ghostblade to get into the fight quickly. Speed yourself over there. But here, Obese Panda looking for the engage. Looks like he's clicking on the Lissandra, goes in. Julian gets the ulti himself, and then it's the counter. It's the flip in there. And then you have this gigantic fight where there's so much damage that comes in from Aetheris with those final Qs on multiple people there. And it's just the cleanup. Just so much damage comes across. It's this big cluster that happens once again.
Edrix is a surprisingly potent frontliner. He's not tanky, don't get me wrong, but having a bit of extra life with that ulti, usually enough with your damage to clean up the back end of the fights if you need to. So certainly does a good tank impression sometimes.
Yeah.
With World Ender.
And he went for early CDR too, having the Youmuu's Ghostblade and the Kindle Gem. So when he gets in there, he's able to cycle through his Qs, and he's mostly for burst. Winter goes in.
Another dive here. Winter gonna get lock up Diamond, who does fall down to Jenkins, but 2 ultimates thrown into the mix to make sure that kill happens.
Yeah, and the question is, what do you get off of that? They're gonna have to be able to pressure this mid turret, but Julian is coming up. He's a decent amount of their wave clear. And then Sophis Sage onto Jurassic, who also is able to just push them off this wave. Means they don't really get too much for it. It's just a kill in the bag with some assists on the back, and that's it. But this 4,000 gold lead is something that they're gonna struggle to overcome, because once again, it's another composition that lacks wave clear. They have exactly the same three carries that they did in the previous game. Just one of them has swapped from mid to top.
See Ocean again grouping back up. Looks like Julian is going to swap more permanently here to the bot side of the map. There is still the mid outer turret for Ocean to take, and they do have the Rift Herald. It is, however, on their top laner, which isn't usually the slot it occupies.
Yeah, but he's been able to just push these waves out, and there hasn't been much that Jenkins or Firefire can say about it. I think Firefire will stand a little bit of a better chance against him as opposed to the Rumble that's been struggling. We've even seen the Rumble has gone for Ninja Tabai here because there's just so much armor that he needs to build up because it's a 3 armor, 3 physical damage threat composition here. And a lot of people don't consider Lissandra to be very high in terms of damage. She can deal a lot. She's a lot of CC, but a lot of people don't really respect it too much as Firefire.
Yeah, 2v2 here. Firefire locked up by Metaphor. Was baited to try and stop Shelly, but Shelly on a rampage takes down that first turret in mid. Now going to look for the tier 2. Ocean might even commit to some sort of dive here, but can't quite get positioned for turret damage. Instead, they'll transition down to the bottom half of the map and attack this tier 2 instead.
Whoa, all right, just putting down wards. So that's an aggressive play there from Aetheris. Even though Firefire is down and he knows that it's a 4v5, you'd have to worry about something like a Nocturne ultimate coming down. And I feel like he trusts the mobility of the Aatrox with the E.
See, Jenkins also commits the ulti. That's the best wave clear on the Cloud Drake side, but unfortunately is not available most of the time.
Yeah, it means the fallback pattern for this composition is just almost non-existent. You have to wait for a Kai'Sa to scale, but the way you get to scale is delaying with wave clear, and I feel like that's just not something this composition has. So it's funny because we're at Scouting Grounds and it's supposed to be focused on the players, but I think this composition is just one that does lack a way to get back into the game, especially versus Ocean, where Julian, I think he's been really kind of the, I want to say the catalyst for, being somebody who can get them back into the game if they need to, just like in the last game with the Victor, or keep them in the game with his wave clear and control mages. So he hasn't had to show anything really like outside of his wheelhouse, because his wheelhouse is actually perfect for what they want to accomplish.
Yeah, it's, again, not too surprising to me that Ocean, kind of on the final day, feel like they've put the pieces together for a team that may have been tricky to figure out what to do when you have more passive solo laners and a very aggressive jungler.
Yeah. Yeah, I completely agree, because Metaphor, 100% KP right now, same as Diamond, who they're number 1 right now, tied for it, but it's just he's been doing so much work here on this Camille. He played it correctly during the early parts, almost got a gank off bottom, which gave them pressure, went around, and then he just was able to get the blue and go straight for a dive, level 3, level 4, and the team came together as a team, because you want to look good as an individual, but a lot of the times in professional play, you'll look good as an individual when your focus is on how the team is going to operate, not just yourself.
This is the thing that I know matters a lot to players that are watching these players that we can't hear. That's, how are you communicating in the game? For a lot of these players, you heard it from Auto on the desk, it's just kind of like playing solo queue, but you can talk to each other, right? Which is not really a big step. You have a lot to learn when you start playing more as a team, more at these higher levels about how, to play the map and talk to each other. It's communication so important. We can't hear how these players are talking, but I can promise you, the coaches and teams that are looking at these players are listening very intently to how these players are talking, no matter the game situation.
Yeah, and I would also say like a week is not enough time to work out any sort of system, so
nope.
I would assume people are just pretty much talking about what they want to do, what they're able to do, unless you have this magic combo where one person is a really adamant shot caller and smart about the game, and the others are just going to follow up.
Diving again, Winter after the Nocturne ulti. We saw that combo last time, but again, Ocean going to turn it back around for the counterattack. Sophisade locked up by Metaphor, completely out of position, to be honest, as Firefire is going to try and get somebody down. A good 3-man route there from Julian. He's going to try and buy more time as he does. Manage to pick up Winter, and here's the Aatrox finally. Better late than never. He's going to clean up the back end of the fight. It's only one dead on the side of Ocean, and once again, another ace is being chased by Ocean. Nice knock up there. Better knock up there to follow through. Now Diamond going to try and get him. He grabs the hook. He gets the play, and there's the ace for Ocean.
Wait, don't block him. Don't block him.
Oh, goodbye, friend.
Oh, Diamond goes down, but
a true support to the end.
Yeah, they got the turret on top of that too, but that is once again another ace there for Ocean. 8,000 gold lead for him. This team came out 0-6, Cloud 3-3. Cloud brought down Team Mountain yesterday, which was a completely unexpected upset, and one of the teams that people were considering one of the best that came out of Scouting Grounds. But Ocean here, a team at the very bottom, coming up huge here. I like that. The roll away from Metaphor. Winter gets in, but then Sophis He used his ultimate to get to the back line, and that's a no-no up against Julian on that Lissandra. He finds him even through the ultimate from Nocturne and just points, clicks, presses the R, and then it's completely turned around here. There's some low health bars, but they just can't get them low enough for the Urgot ultimate. They can't get them low enough so that they can actually clean up this fight. And then, like you said, comes in from the side, and then sometimes you're the support, but your team needs to support you. There's so many other places to stand.
I think he also knew that, you know, if I walk right, I probably just live. So having some fun with it. Diamond at least managed to complete the ace as Ocean back down to the bot side because namesake Drake is up and ready to be collected. Looks like Metaphor will start that objective. Inhibitor still stands in the top half as well, so Cloud can hold on to that. But Ocean have built almost 8,000 gold ahead at this stage of the game.
Yeah, they're doing quite a good job here today. And it's going to be so hard for Cloud to get back in. Jenkins doesn't have wave clear. You see him kind of throwing down the ultimate, which gives them large windows where they can't really fight objectives. Rumble ultimate is a huge part of the composition, and every time they use it for wave clear, it just kind of puts a damper on what they can actually contest afterwards.
Yeah, and the inverse, of course, is if you can't play defensively to let your scalers hit their points, then you have to do the opposite. You must play aggressively and try and get gold that way, and at least if you trade and don't lose too much, you're getting something. But as pointed out, that's very difficult strategy when you're behind, because every time it goes wrong, you only get further behind.
Yeah, you playing safe is dependent on what the enemy is doing at the same time. That is up in the top lane, by the way. There it is.
Julian in a 1v2. Oh, about to be 1v3. So my friend just gets shot down there by Fire. So again, good gold to collect.
Yep, picks him up and... Oh.
Metaphor again, finds the ulti.
They're leaving him.
Atro's going to try and cut the rest of them off. Yep, that's one dead. They're going to try and grab more here. Winter going to get played back around. The Beast Panda should live, but Zoffa Sage can't get in there. He's going to leave Winter out to dry. The Jurassic picks up a double kill, and this inhibitor will likely be forfeit as well.
Yep, that inhibitor, but that's 2 people dead as well on the side of Cloud. I don't know if they'll push. I think they're going to back up, potentially look at picking up the red on the way out, because they saw it, and then they might go for that that Baron on top of it. I wonder, because Julian does have teleport, but it does look like a recall is coming in here for Jurassic.
Yep, they've got the gold. They need to go back, reset, and spend. They did get the Ocean as well. It's actually, they were walking from the Dragon Pit back up to the top lane to complete that little sequence. Panda is trying to get some vision back down on the bot side of the map, but Cloud have so little room to work with. Again, when the map's open, Nocturne's so happy because you can just pick off side laners. Julian gave them one opening in the long lane in top, but not going to get too many more.
It's an opening, but like, is it really an opening? That's the question that I'd like to ask, because this is something that happens in chess all the time. You're like, ha, I got your bishop, but oh, you lost a bishop and a knight in return. It's like, it's not worth it because you shouldn't have gone for that play in the first place. They shouldn't have had to dedicate 3 people to go that far and kill him. Sure, you got the piece, but you're gonna lose way more for that because you went for it. And that's exactly what happened here, is they're now out of position. They didn't have the rotational advantage, and you can see that Sophis, Sage, and Jenkins, it takes them so long to even get towards that area that they have almost nothing to do with that fight.
Yep, not a good traded material at all for Cloud. Julian going in, Proto Belt. Oh, good kick out there from Winter with a headbutt. And there's a Nocturne defensively, but it does save them as they will back away towards the mid-tier 2. Drops the Ethereus is getting aggressive, but you can afford it when you're 4-0-5.
Yeah.
And your champion doesn't die when you hit ulti.
Had the same thing in the last game with the Dr. Mundo. Playing some champions that he can go ahead and run around on and feel okay. And well,
Diamond's over there. Everyone's going over. Apparently not interested in the Baron at all.
Yeah, nobody interested in his Lantern either. It was like, throws a Lantern back after flashing. Everybody just uses their own move block to get over. Right now, they just need to wait for the top wave to crash in. So what's happening is Jurassic controls mid wave. Top wave is just going to have super minions and crash in. You can see Jenkins has to take care of it. And Sophis Sage getting 1v1 here by Jurassic. And Obese Panda does not have that ultimate from before when he used it defensively.
Yep, and again, they're trying to get in and get something done. Julian over the wall, but Fire also now going to get cut off here by Jurassic, who dashes forward. He's going to try and pick up the kill here. Heal gets burned, but Ethereus over the top, forces the flash from Sophis Sage, a trade that's likely worth it. given the situation they're in. They'll regen with Ocean, they'll run back to the objective and keep baiting Cloud into the area.
Yeah, this may mean that Fire has to TP back in or take care of the super minions. There's the TP. He's TP flanking, but they're going to be able to either collapse on him.
Mistimes that slightly, but Julian gets forward there with the root. Top bot popped there. Fire, though, forced to flash. Still gets clipped by the Glacial Prison. And that's going to be a kill over. It takes a while, but Diamond claims yet another one here. As Jenkins also forced to flash away, but Urgot's still chasing. Well done, that gives you so much move speed. And now he's just going to try and force Jenkins to fight him, but not a fight that the Rumble can maybe win. He's overheated. Actually, the chain didn't flash. Julian, he's trying to flank around. Jenkins, he might be able to pick up a kill, but Diamond again secures the kill.
Yep. 4, 3, and 12 for your Thresh. Playing quite well today overall for Diamond. And that's going to be another turret, whereas that top side of the map, there's super minions that are looking at that Nexus turret. It's very, very low right now. There's the TP that's going to be coming out to get them back up there. It's going to be Aetheris coming through. Yep,
just committing again to trying to take the maximum number of structures here on this push. No Baron, but power play was long enough that they're able to take at least the bottom inhibitor turret, and they do want an inhib if they can get it. Fire, he's going to get caught in the chains. It looks like enough members of Cloud here to defend. Means that no other inhibitor will be felled.
And this might be just a recall here, or yeah, recall into Infernal Drake. Everybody just, you can clearly tell what's happened with Ocean is somebody, coach has said, you guys need to stop goofing off after you do something. Everybody needs to recall, reset at the same time. There's two things about resetting at the same time. One, you leave this very big window where there's nobody out on the map and they have to capitalize immediately if they're the enemy team, like rush a Baron or something, but they have to do it very decisively. So teams that are kind of put together in a week, not that decisive, not able to pull the trigger on those types of plays, but it means that they also all get back out on the map at the same time and can fight immediately. Kind of take care of everything at once. You see Julian gets his blue, and you can see the Infernal Drake ready for that one to come up here. And he has teleport, so he can go for another recall here and not really risk anything. But yeah, you can definitely tell that they went for recalls at the same time. Also control boards once again.
Yeah, Julian actually recalled for 2 control boards, so they're really looking at this Baron here.
Scouting grounds.
Julian will clear out the control board in the backside of the pit, and they don't own the speed train, unfortunately for them. So we'll have to wait, but have some time here. Top inhib has respawned, so Ocean will move here through the red side jungle, see if they can't find a straggler.
Yeah, I also love that Jurassic has Merc Treads, and he had 2 control wards, so him also contributing to vision as the marksman. They usually actually have the lowest ward scores in pretty much the entire game, because you want to just buy items all the time. But the Merc Tread's on top of it too. Pretty much for the Rumble, not really any hard CC that he has to worry about too much. There's the hook, there's the engage, there's the turn.
Trinket, but that's going to be Fire locked off. He's pretty tanky, popped a stone plate, but Julian's still able to get the kill, and back to Baron we go.
Not tanky enough, apparently.
Not at all.
Normally, they get like a Righteous Glory, but not in this matchup. And then went for the Gargoyle Stone Plate. 2, 6, and 1 on this Urgot has been so hard for him. And like we said, Fire having to stretch his champion pool, the Rumble, the Urgot in the last 2 games, neither have been very convincing here, but look at that.
That's a good ult from Jenkins. Again, Paranoia going to try and defense here, but everyone's going to dive in there. Obese Panda looking for it, but Jurassic goes godlike, does not get picked off as Julian into stasis to buy even more time. But again, Sophist still alive. That's actually going to be a few more kills. Ocean, a little split. Jurassic dies as well.
It's an ace.
And now Cloud, they get the ace. They're onto the Baron.
Yeah, they almost killed the Aatrox. Sorry, he had a tiny bit of HP left here. I don't know if he can actually do anything about this, though. He's so low. It would have to be a miracle for him to even contest this.
Probably died once, given that he doesn't have ulti, but that means he cannot contest at all. Even with Panda dead, both junglers not around me. That is Baron over to Cloud, and all of a sudden the game turns back around.
Wow. So they're gonna have this gigantic Baron for themselves on the side of Cloud Drake. They don't have their inhibitor down on the top side, so they can just go ahead and push waves out normally. But watch this. Ultimate comes across, slows Metaphor. Jurassic takes so much damage, so he can't really help in this fight. Then there's the ultimate from Nocturne to kind of shadow everything, and Jurassic has to flash away and heal before he's even done any damage in this fight. And he's one of the people who has some of the most gold on this team, and he gets, I believe, 2 autos off in this whole entire fight because he's zoned off by the Rumble ultimate, and when he comes back in, it's the ultimate from the Nocturne that comes in too.
Yep, see the damage there. Not able to commit that much to the team fight. So now Cloud with the Baron, they still have a very big mountain to climb as far as gold goes, but You know, you got to get the Kai'Sa to late game somehow, and with 3 items and counting, actually a QSS also finished now for Sopha Sage. Cloud are at least in a position to try and claw their way back into this game.
Yeah, there was some great shutdown gold that came through there. That was 850 gold going over to the Rumble and 600 gold going over to the Kai'Sa. Actually, he got 2 kills, and the total value of those 2 was 1,050 gold. He got a shutdown on both the Thresh and the Camille. And then, of course, the Lucian shutdown. So between those 3 kills, that was 1,900 gold from 3 kills, which are normally only worth 900.
Well, certainly, again, a good way to keep yourselves in this game and even maybe be in a position to start attacking. Certainly with the Baron, out of turret should be relatively trivial to take.
Yep, you don't have to worry about the Lissandra wave clear as much when you have that Baron. It actually allows you an opportunity to siege. 5-Fire caught out again.
Does get his way out there. Dashes out, but does have to use the move. I believe it's called Disdain.
The move.
I think it's called Disdain.
Look at the moves.
Look at the move. This Cloud, again, just trying to slowly siege these down. Looks like Aethera's in the top lane. No TP, but he's almost there. Just going to get the wave pushing back the other way so they don't lose more, but Cloud pretty firmly securing mid lane here. Going to try and knock this down as well. Julian looking for the engage. Doesn't pull the trigger on the claw.
Yeah, they have to go ahead and use this Baron, this last minute of it, to get as many mid-turrets as they can, because that'll allow them to rotate to the sides, and that's just been their biggest issue, is they didn't get any of the turrets. It was 0 to 8 in turrets before that Baron went down. And it's because the wave clear, the lost lane on the bottom side, and swapping it around the map just means that Cloud have been on the defensive the whole time, and then they found that opportunity during the Baron when Ocean were trying to force an objective.
Certainly have been contained, but finally breaking out as they will go back, spend their gold, and with Baron kind of phasing out in these next 30 seconds, not a whole lot left for Cloud to do. So Ocean gonna have to rethink their strategy moving in towards this end game, because it's starting to look a little worrisome with the carries charging up here for Cloud.
Yeah, I don't think they have to be incredibly worried, but like you said, it's not that same bravado that they had just a moment ago. It's going to be shove the mid, get the Ocean Drake, because you still have better team fight. Go towards the top side afterwards, but right now it looks like Cloud are going to say, let's go for that top push. They don't need that top turret, and they're moving Jenkins over because they have Baron control. They just don't have Ocean control. Drake control, and there's 2 open inhibitors actually. So yeah, go to the bottom side here. Thought it would be top, but this makes way more sense because Ocean Drake is up.
Oh, good hook. Fi gonna take some poke, pops the stone plate, but he's already at 50% HP. Again, another pretty defensive Nocturne ulti, the redemption down. Gives him a lot of extra health as Winter will fall. Jurassic, he needs to stay alive, but somebody got put into fear beyond death. Now going to resurrect, I believe it was the Aatrox that might have got popped. No, never mind, he's up the top there killing Sopha Sage. So that was not the one who got taken. But they do live through. The Ogodot does not claim a kill, and now Ocean moving in for the victory here.
Yeah, he was able to get Metaphor, who had the GA, and then doesn't matter, but look at this last-ditch effort.
Yeah, trying to defend, but it's not enough. Ocean just realized we need to group push and end the game. There's the ace, there's the Nexus going down, and Ocean will find redemption on the final day. 2-0. They claim third here at Scouting Grounds.
And that just has to be a huge sigh of relief for these guys, because the 0-6 look like a gigantic blemish on a lot of these guys' kind of records coming in here, where we're talking about Metaphor, a lot of hype around him, comes in, delivers in these final 2 games, able to play off the bottom lane with Jurassic and Diamond, and they're able to find their win here. And everybody did step up too. Aetherius, a deathless game for him here on the Aatrox, was able to use the open lane to continue pressuring mid and make 5-Fire have an awful game. And Julian, same thing from him. The control mage showing up, having to play and being able to play that style. Didn't have to show a whole lot more than kind of the normal book from him here.
And you know what? If there's a lot of other things, like we said, that go into, you know, how you're considered, that are just very invisible, or at least that we don't get an opportunity to really see. But, you know, playing in your wheelhouse, playing comfortably, looking good, that is important at the end of the day. So players will be happy. Ocean will not finish in 4th. Perhaps the most important thing is that Team Liquid's team will not finish in 4th place here at Scouting Grounds.
Seemed inevitable, but the 0-6 just gets you in terms of seeding to the group stage or the knockout stage, and right here, finish in third, hold their heads high. But really, I think a lot of these guys, the sigh of relief of having at least some really good games to show here to people who are looking to pick up some talent.
And of course, again, they've had a whole week to play. There's plenty of other footage for teams to watch depending on who they are scouting here. But, I mean, just looking at jungle, I mean, you said it, Abyss Panda was drafted just above Metaphor, which for most people was not the expectation.
Yeah.
I think Metaphor this game is like, hey, I'm the better jungler. Watch this tape.
Yeah, and people were saying that Metaphor was getting a bit out-jungled. And when I watched the games, I wasn't exactly what I thought was happening. I thought that he didn't have the same pressure from either solo laner, and he seems like somebody who likes to play off of those types of lanes very early, but he showed the flexibility being able to play off of bottom side and to play an early jungler and swap the matchup too, because they picked the Camille when Nocturne was still up, said they would rather have this jungler, even though he had a great Nocturne game before. It just felt like something where they were ready to just throw down the gauntlet and say, I can play this matchup, the opposite side of it, and show you what I'm supposed to do. Level 3, level 4 turret dive works out perfectly for them with the coordination, and it all came together from the composition as well, I would say.
Yeah, you think about that. Whoever organized that dive is maybe the player you start looking at, right? Because whoever calls, hey, this is a situation we can go in, really well executed there to give Ocean the snowball. But for more on that victory, we are going to send it over to Overly for an interview with Team Ocean's Diamond.
Thanks, Pastry. Diamond, we weren't sure if we were going to see Team Ocean leave with a win today, but you pulled it off. How did you lead this team to their first series win?
Well, I wasn't sure we're going to win either, but we managed to pull it off. I think we just didn't have anything to lose anymore. We just stayed calm, and we managed to pull it off. So pretty proud of my team for doing that.
And you have 3 members on your team, a part of Polar Ace, who have kind of played competitively pretty regularly. So how did it affect the team dynamic with you coming in as like the new kid to the team?
Obviously, there was a void left because since like the 2 players that were supposed to have the most energy in, like the support and their jungler were missing, it was kind of hard to fill that void. And at first, I was trying to put myself too much into them. I think I was like trying to be much of a bigger voice than I should be, and I think they affected the team really badly at first. But then we found like our voice and everything, and it went really well after that.
And over the entire week, you have had access to professional organizations, coaches, and their staff members, and throughout the week, learning from them. What was the biggest lesson that they had taught you?
I think at first we were trying to go too in depth in things, and we were trying to go too hard on and like try to do things that were like when you don't have the core mechanics of the game, like you can't execute well. And we just went back to basics. And Dodo is a really good coach, and Case is really good as well, and Sojin, they helped us a lot. Hermes as well. They all helped us a lot. And I'm sorry if I forgot anyone, but they're really good help, and they made us really become something when at the beginning we were just not good at all.
We have Team Mountain and Team Infernal loading in behind us. Is there anything that you learned from the players competing here?
Yeah, don't give Ivern to Fragus. He's the Bedoink machine. And I think Fragus is just going 1v9. He's faker on the Rift.
And last question for you. What are your hopes for your competitive career next year?
Well, I hope teams look at me and think that I'm a well-rounded player and that I can show up, and I hope they give me a try. So.
Well, fingers crossed to see you play next year. Thank you again. That's it for us here. Back to the desk.
Yeah. Oh. Thank you very much, Avali, and thank you, fellow David, who is Diamond, by the way. So yeah, I mean, definitely a surprising result here, Team Ocean 2-0. They had only won 3 individual games coming into this one, and they beat a team that 2-0'd in matches. So that was pretty impressive.
I think this team had a lot of skill, and a lot of their solo laners were players who had high highs and low lows, and I think you kind of heard Diamond saying that they felt pressure, and like today they felt like they had nothing to lose, so to speak, and so that might have helped alleviate some of the stress that some of these guys were having, because they really stepped up the solo laners as well as the bot lane.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just happy they end up on a win. I mean, CLG's coaching these guys for Team Ocean. They went 0-6, but at least they end scouting rounds on like a high note. I think also for this game, they looked like a lot cleaner. I remember I was walking in, I was watching some of their scrims, like, I think it's just like, yeah, nothing to lose. Like your mindset when you have like nothing to lose and you're on stage, like you just let loose, you just do plays, and it's a lot more fun like that.
Yep, and overall, of course, we see the comps down at the bottom of the screen where you've got the Lucian coming back in for some lane aggression. This time around, actually, they win lane by a lot. Diamond on Thresh instead of the Alistar was the big change there. And, I mean, they really destroyed bot lane.
Yeah, it was like, it was split map. I think also Metaphor is a good contributor. Like, he dove bottom and stuff. Like, I think the way they play around this bot lane compared to last game is like, wow, it's like really good improvement.
Yeah, I think the overall bot lane situation was the same, but they picked a lot more active top side of the map so they can make more aggressive plays. It's not to say it was all
nice,
perfect
though.
because the enemy did answer back. Nice snipe over the wall by 5.
Oh, that's tilting.
But this is after the bot lane had already gotten completely steamrolled, and that was mostly because they played around it correctly. And this time, instead of a Victor and a Mundo, now you have an Aatrox and Lysandra who can actually follow up on plays well. So they're a lot stronger in the early game when these 5v5s break out.
I think this fight in specific, like Lysandra buys so much time. I think this fight, they just had a better collapse, and they just played the team fight better overall.
Yeah, you blow out a CC and Aftershock List who, hits W, stays invincible, hits ult, stays invincible, comes back out, and by that point the team's re-engaged and normal ult's timed out. So that was definitely really nice. And yeah, unfortunately for Cloud, they just couldn't find great engagement. This play, by the way, watch Kai'Sa, flayed. I don't know if that was on purpose, but like Flay is instant cast and he's on land, so like theoretically, like there is a way he like read that, but either way, actually the sickest play I've seen in forever.
And this another good play by Julian on Lysandra, going in and distracting the 3 backline members instead of allowing them to continue to chase onto the Lucian, buys a lot of space, and eventually the Aatrox was able to collapse as well, turn that one around. Good play. There were some hiccups, okay?
Yes. Oh yeah, for sure.
I think we completely skipped over the Baron throw that happened at the end of the game.
It was gonna be, they were gonna get no turrets if they didn't throw there for a little bit, but they ended up getting mid turret. But I mean, they ended up coming back. Even though, but overall, it's still a pretty solid game, I'd say.
Yeah, Jurassic in that Baron play that didn't work out was a big 7-0 Lucian who couldn't contribute to the fight. That time around there, you see hopping the wall, getting involved, and actually pumping out that damage highest in the game. Oh, wait, no.
I think
Rumble beats him a little bit.
Yeah, Rumble's got him by 600, but... Yep. But it does signal the end of scouting grounds for both these teams, so I want to kind of move on to talking about the 10 players here who put out 7 best-of-3s throughout the last 4 days now. This one, of course, played out on stage, on camera. The other ones were back in the practice rooms that the LCS players normally use. So kind of thoughts on the 10 of these players and what they did this week?
I think for me, I think Metaphor was a person, he played on MLGB with Duo King, and I think for him, he was pretty hyped up going into the scouting rounds. I think overall, I think he played pretty well today for these sets, but I think a lot of it with jungling, it's, at least from solo queue to competitive, it's not like, oh, I play Kayn, I'm gonna go Shadow Form and just 11-0. That's not how competitive works. So I think for sure the junglers, especially like Metaphor and Panda, it was like fun seeing them because solo queue is like, jungler is like a carry role almost, but in competitive, it's like you're there to enable laners, you need to communicate, it's like a lot different.
I think for me, I'd have to go with Diamond. Not only did he have a great Thresh game there that we saw, but also his Alistar game in the first game, he found a lot of really impressive headbutt pulverizes, and there was one skirmish in the early game where if they won it a little bit harder and actually killed the Kai'Sa, they might have been able to snowball that game as well. But I thought in both games, he was a large factor in the laning phase and in team fights.
Yeah, the one player I want to pitch in for is Obese Panda on Cloud. Even though they got 2 out, I thought he had good games both times. I liked his Camila a lot. I thought he had some good ganks, some good pressure, but of course the whole team couldn't quite put it all together. Either way, some fun matches. Of course, we have more to go. So more action coming your way very soon. Team Mountain and Inferno will hit the Rift as we go up for our last best-of-3 of this wonderful, I don't know, tournament? Whatever it is, of this event of Scouting Guys 2018. Don't touch that browser.